Good morning, Coach. We'll get started
Good
here
morning,
with
guys,
Dave.
and hey, happy New Year to everybody.
Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Doug. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Over the last 5 years, you've worked with Jim Schwartz. How has your relationship evolved, and how do you think he's done this year?
I tell you, our relationship has evolved tremendously. I think we've been more on the same page over the years. Me just getting to know him, each year and understanding him as a coach and a coordinator, and obviously, his defenses consistently or historically have been top defenses, in the National Football League, and of course when guys are healthy and all of that, but. Our relationship's been great, and I think based on what as the season progressed this year, I thought the defense actually was doing some really good things for us and keeping the offense, in these football games, here down the stretch and creating takeaways and sort of stymieing the run game, from our opponents and things of that nature. So I think overall it's been really good.
John and then Bo.
Hey, Doug, Happy New Year. I just wanted to get your thoughts on Alex Smith and what he meant to you, obviously, in Kansas City. And we all know what he's been through to get back to this point, and just what you learned about him from your time together.
I'll tell you something. I really got a lot of respect for Alex Smith and for him and his family and just again the way he has come back from this adversity in his career with the injury and putting him in a position to play this season and potentially start this game Sunday night. You know, my hat goes off to him. It doesn't surprise me that he's been in this position because our time in Kansas City for 3 years, just watching him work and the work ethic that he has for himself. Number one, to be the best player that he can be, but also within the team and how he can elevate and make things run smoothly, with his offenses. But he's a guy that really knows how to run the system, and he's not going to put the ball in harm's way. He takes care of the football. He utilizes everybody on offense, quite frankly, and that's been one of his strengths, and that's why his win percentage is so good. But I think the key is just he takes care of the football, number one, and he's done that his whole career. And I would say that there's probably been a lot of things said and piled up upon him over his career that he can't do this, he can't do that. But bottom line, he's a proven winner in this league at quarterback, and that's what you're measured by. And I've got a lot of respect for him.
Bo and then Rob.
Hey, Doug, similar to the question about Jim Schwartz, how has your relationship with Howie evolved over the last 5 years?
Probably a little bit better. I of course I have more history with Howie, having been here before and getting to know him and his family as well, and then coming back in 2016, and right away being on the same page with the team and just the collaborative effort and communicative talks that we've had. It's been good, and we continue to even through this pandemic, when we're out of the building or having to do things virtually, still maintaining that relationship and growing that relationship. And I think it's so important that a head coach GM combination can be on the same page in a lot of things. It's not necessarily we have to agree on a lot of things, but we walk out of the room convinced that the decisions we make are the right decisions we make for the football team, and that's been I think the thing that's with he and I has been the best thing moving in the last 5 years.
Go ahead, Rob, and then Tim.
Hey, Doug, you mentioned that before in your conversation with Dave Spadaro earlier this week, you were talking about how you're going to have your exit interviews with select players. Will Carson be one of those? And what will your message to him be as you move forward?
Yeah, I usually talk with many of the players. I'm sure that Carson and I will visit, and I'd like to visit with him. But, listen, I'm not going to get into that publicly. I think that's a private conversation that he and I will have, and really all the conversations I have with coaches and players are going to remain private.
Tim, and then Rob Motti.
Doug, I'm curious about the mechanics of the postseason meeting with Lori. Like, how does that work every year? Does it happen right after the game? Is it the next morning at the NovaCare complex? What kind of things are talked about? And is there anything that you need to hear to feel comfortable moving forward with the Eagles?
Well, again, Tim, those are obviously private conversations, but I'll say that they're usually within a day or two after our final game that he and I get together. Normally, the day after, as you guys know, we're wrapping up the exit physicals and wrapping up things with the team, and that takes pretty much the majority of the day. So, it's usually the next day or the day after that he and I will get together and look, as far as the reassurances go, I mean, listen, I expect to be here in 2021 and until something else happens. But that's the confidence I have in my ability and that's how I'm going to approach these next few days and really 2021.
Rob, and then Jeff.
Hey, Doug, this was your first season without an offensive coordinator, but you had new voices on the staff. How do you feel about the way it worked out? And is that a structure of the staff? Is that an area that you may look at adding someone, elevating someone already on staff when you have a lot of different voices? Is it difficult sometimes to understand all the ideas and just try and decipher what you want to do and who you want to follow and all of that stuff?
There's a lot of positive that comes out of those communications and those talks and those ideas and really everybody has great ideas and that's part of putting plans together. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that there's one voice, and that's my voice that's heard offensively and nobody else's. And that's the part that I've got to get across to the staff and I have done that, and I want to make sure that there's one voice talking to the quarterbacks and whoever's in that room. Press has been in that room, or I know Andrew Briner's been in that room, and but they're speaking the same language. We're all on the same page, and that's something that I think is very important. At every position, I want Stout to run the offensive line, even though TJ Pagnetti and Deuce and Justin Peel all help in the run game. Roy Isfin, they all help in the run. Stout is the voice, right? Same way in the running back room, and so that's something that comes from me, and things will obviously as the season ends this weekend for us will be evaluated moving forward.
Jeff, and then Les.
Doug, since Zach Ertz has returned from injury, we've seen Dallas get more snaps and have more plays designed for him. Is that a shift in thinking on your tight end depth chart?
No, I don't think so. I think what you're seeing though is Dallas was playing extremely well when Zach missed due to injury, and from an offensive standpoint, just didn't want to disrupt that, and we had to get Zach back acclimated into the offense. So I don't think that's necessarily a shift in anything at that position.
Les, and then Zach.
Hey, Doug. Happy New Year. Looking at Sunday's game, is this going to be a chance for a lot of young guys to play more? I know you have some veterans who are banged up. I know there's a lot of talk about not letting Washington win the division championship on your field and all that. But, how do you see this game in terms of what you can do, I guess, heading into 2021? Are you looking at it as some sort of trial for younger guys?
This game is important. And the first thing is, we'd like to win the game. That's whoever's on the football field. We play to win the game. I mean, that's just what we do. when there's injury, it's always the next man up. And if that's one of the young players, then it's a great opportunity for him to take the field and show what he can do. And everybody's being evaluated, obviously. And we are in a position where we're a little banged up this time of year. And so, yeah, there's going to be probably some more of the younger guys playing in this football game. But don't get me wrong. You still want to go be competitive, and you still want to try to win the football game. That's without saying. But if these young guys get a chance to play, then yeah, it's an evaluation as well for them moving forward.
And also, real quickly, the Jalen Mills situation, is it a matter of him being in contact with someone who tested positive, or is he tested positive himself?
Well, by rule, again, I'm not allowed to actually comment on the COVID part of it. He does. Obviously, he's on the list, so that's all I can really say about that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Zach, and then Kristen.
Hey, good morning, Doug. Happy New Year. It was last week you were asked if 4 games is enough of a sample size for Jalen Hurts. Obviously, this being the last piece of that sample, what's left for him to prove, to show you whether he can be a viable starting quarterback in this league?
Well, I think there's definitely some good that's come out of these last few starts. Number one of the things you got to look at too is how does he respond? Of course, we beat New Orleans, and then we go on the road to Arizona and Dallas, and we come up short in both of those games, and there's some good things there, but at the same time, I want to see how he responds, right, to that adversity, and how well can from the quarterback, can they elevate the guys around him to play well, with him. That's all part of the process, and it's just another opportunity this week for him to go play and listen. There'll be enough time to evaluate the future as we move into the offseason.
Kristen, and then Ed Venkin.
To kind of follow up on that point, though, Doug, how do you feel like Jalen has reacted this week in a situation where you guys are playing for strictly pride, essentially, this Sunday?
He's responded well. I mean, this guy's a competitor. He's obviously disappointed in the last couple of weeks, and he wants to get back out there and correct mistakes. He wants to, try to erase losing and all of that. So he's really responded well, and he continues to lead the team, in the role that he's in.
We'll wrap it up with Ed, Martin, and then Ed.
Hi, Doug. Happy New Year. Following up from before, is there really a lot of talk about getting a chance to spoil things for Washington, or is this much more about you guys finishing strong and worry about playing the kind of football game you want to play on Sunday?
Yeah, I don't necessarily use spoiler as motivation. I use the fact that we got another opportunity to go out and showcase, our talents and try to put together a 4-quarter game and try to win a game, right? I mean, that's the motivation, and it's a division opponent, right? So, and that's been our focus. We've game planned, we've practiced this week that way, and I fully expect these, my team to come out and play hard and play aggressive, and we understand that it's for them, if they win, obviously they're in, and so we know those ramifications too. We've been on that side of it, so we understand that. But by no means do I use spoiler as motivation for any football game.
Arden.
Hey, Doug. Happy New Year. How is sitting for the last 4, these 4 games, how has that helped Carson, and what does he need to do during the offseason to have a chance to win his job back?
I think these last 4 games have really allowed Carson to just kind of take a step back and just evaluate and just see and work on some things that we've helped him with, and things that we can continue to help him with as we move forward, and that's probably been the biggest thing that's come out of these last couple of weeks, And you got to understand. Listen, I've got a ton of confidence in Carson Wentz, and always have, and we continue. Our off season is going to be geared toward getting things fixed as quarterbacks, and obviously as a team, and that falls on my shoulders. So that's going to be our motivation. Moving into this off season.
Go ahead, Ed.
Hi, Doug. When you talk about getting things fixed, I mean, what's at the top of that priority list to fix? Is it the quarterback situation or Carson, or what is it exactly?
And I think you got to look at the whole roster, the whole team. And we know. Listen, we know that free agencies are right around the corner, and that changes your roster. The draft is right around the corner. That changes your roster. So, it's hard to sit here and say, hey, what do we have to focus on? I mean, you could probably pick anything and say, hey, that we've got to fix that spot. We've had a ton of injury this year. We got to get healthy. I think that's the biggest thing and the number one thing. Let's get healthy. I'm hoping to have an off-season program this year where we can get our guys back out on the football field, and really work. And I think that's where you lay the foundation, moving into next season. So it's hard to pinpoint exactly one spot. We do know that we're going to continue to work with our quarterbacks. We're going to get them all, we're going to get them all right and all headed in the right direction. And we do that, then everybody follows suit. So that's going to be our motivation moving forward.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.